What's up, guys, and welcome back to Rule of Two Review. My name is Rob, and today we're going to discuss the 2014 Video Game Awards. Okay, so I'm about a week late to the party on this one, but it was just revealed in this last week that the 2014 Video Game Awards are going to be held on December 5th in Las Vegas. That is just about a week and a half or 2 weeks away, which is pretty exciting. There's a lot going on with the Video Game Awards this year. Of course, last year notoriously known for the VGX Awards, which was a complete debacle, thanks mostly in part to, oh god, what's the tool's name? I feel like an idiot for forgetting his name. Ah, damn it. Mitch McHale? Oh, something Hale. Oh my god. Anyway, the douchebag from Community. I was so disappointed in his reaction and the way he treated that show and his job there, and Jeff Keighley, who I actually really like quite a bit. I think that the entire thing, Joel McHale, just remembered his name. Oh my god, sorry guys. Anyway, that whole thing was just a debacle, and it just really wasn't handled very well, and I felt really, really bad for Jeff Keighley and my fellow gamers who were completely insulted throughout that entire show. So, I have a quick message for Joel McHale. Fuck off. Glad we'll never see you again. And now coming to this year's awards, pretty exciting because they've now separated from Spike TV completely. So it's literally just its own thing, its own entity, and its own show. So I think it's going to be pretty fantastic. What I wanted to do with you guys today was go over the nominees for almost every category. There might be one or two I don't feel like I need to really touch on. But for the most part, I'm looking through them here. Maybe I will talk about every single category here. But, the ones most important to me, of course, the Game of the Year one. We're going to go over all that stuff. And, just kind of discuss what it is I think about the nominees and what my personal opinions and votes are for every category that I have stake in. And that way, hopefully spark the conversation for you guys to talk about it below, since we are still about 2 weeks away from the show or so. I'm actually going to be taking the day off of work that day so I can watch it, maybe stream some stuff, or make a video about my reactions afterwards, or I don't know. It'll be a lot of fun, so I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, we're going to start off with the big one. We're going to go to the Game of the Year, and then I'll just kind of trickle through the rest after that. So yeah, get ready. Okay, again, we're starting off with the big one. That is going to be the Game of the Year nominations. I know it probably would make sense to do this one last, but it's the first one listed. It's the one that we care about the most, so I kind of like the idea of starting with the big one. So the nominations in alphabetical order for Game of the Year are Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Hearthstone, and Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. So what's really interesting about this select group of 5 games is 3 of the 5 games that I would have liked to have seen nominated for Game of the Year actually made it onto this list. And that is Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition. I didn't play Hearthstone. I know people love that game. I'm very curious, but I've not played it myself. Shadow of Mordor, I did buy, and it's pretty darn good. I don't really think it's anywhere near Game of the Year worthy, especially when you think about some of the other games that actually didn't get nominated. But I mean, it was still a very good game, so I'm not like super upset that it's there or anything. But the other 3, Bayonetta, Dark Souls, Dragon Age, really strong choices. My other 2 games that I would have liked to have seen nominated are obviously Super Smash Bros. Because it is flippin' amazing, and Sunset Overdrive because it is also flipping amazing. That's like vying for my second, third, maybe favorite game of the year. I mean, I know it's not my game of the year, but it's like right up there. Loving Sunset Overdrive. So pretty cool to see those 3 out of those 5 titles listed. I'm definitely curious on what you guys are thinking and voting. I know a lot of Nintendo fans follow my channel and Rule of Two Review, which is okay because I love Nintendo. And in that respect, Bayonetta 2 is easily my game of the year so far, and it's obviously my favorite of this list of 5. So what I'm really hoping for is Bayonetta 2. It's got better reviews than every single game on this list, literally. So it is the best reviewed game. However, if Dark Souls or Dragon Age were to win, I would be okay with that. I would probably prefer, in this order, Bayonetta 2, then Dark Souls, then Dragon Age. But Dragon Age is really new. I've been playing it for, a bit now, about the week since it's been out, but I haven't gotten as deep into it because so many games came out around the same time. But it is amazing, so that might be the game I really end up liking more than Dark Souls 2, for example, but I don't know. I doubt it. Dark Souls is amazing, so anyway, yeah, that's the Game of the Year nominations. I'm pulling for Bayonetta 2, but who is it you're pulling for? Okay, moving on through the rest of the list. Best independent game, and this is interesting because I've only played 1 of the 5, but I'm very curious about 3 of the other 4, if that math makes any sense. So the nominees are Broken Age Act 1, because Act 2 is not out yet, Monument Valley, Shovel Knight, Transistor, and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. So I admit to not knowing anything about Monument Valley, never heard of it. Shovel Knight I've played, I love it to death. I think it's worthy of a Game of the Year nomination, so I'm pretty sure it's the best on this list. And based on people's reactions, I think it probably has a lock on this category. As far as Game of the Year, I don't know who has the lock there. I think Bayonetta or Dragon Age probably is going to be the winner there. On Best Independent Game, I think Shovel Knight's the lock, but I really want to play Broken Age. I really want to play Transistor, and I really want to play The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. So pretty interesting group there, so it'll be really interesting. Cool to see what happens there. I'm really hoping Shovel Knight pulls out the win there. Best Narrative, this is an interesting one. Nominees are South Park: The Stick of Truth, Walking Dead Season 2, The Wolf Among Us, Valiant Hearts: The Great War, and Wolfenstein: The New Order. Really interesting to see Wolfenstein up there. That was a game that, I thought was going to be just okay, and it reviewed okay, but also had a lot of positive buzz. I mean, people were talking about it very positively. So it's a game that I became very curious about. I'm surprised that the narrative is the thing that seems to stand out, because I'm all but sure that this game's only nomination, but we'll see as I get farther through the list. My choice, the only ones I've played are, of course, Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, both of which I love to death. I love South Park, the show. I actually work very close to the actual South Park here in Colorado, so it's kind of like almost my hometown, but not really. The South Park is maybe 30 minutes away from where I live, the actual South Park, where Trey Parker, Max Stone grew up. So that's pretty cool. I love the South Park show. The game I know is supposed to be amazing. I haven't played it. I have no desire to play it. Just not interested in South Park in a video game form in that way, but I know it's supposed to be very, very good. So a lot of my buddies love that game. Of the two games I've played here, Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, I am hands down going with The Walking Dead because I prefer it. Wolf Among Us, amazing. What a marvelous story, a marvelous game, and a great experience. So I would not be sad if that game won, but I'm really hoping it goes to Walking Dead. I feel like Walking Dead or South Park are going to be the two games that win. So those are my predictions. It's one of those two, but I'm really pulling for Walking Dead Season 2 on that one because it was amazing. Best performance kind of is borrowing from some of that previous category. Adam Harrington is Bigby Wolf from The Wolf Among Us. Kevin Spacey is Jonathan Irons in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Melissa Hutchinson as Clementine in Walking Dead Season 2. Trey Parker as various voices in South Park: Stick of Truth. And Troy Baker as Talion in Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. So those are all really good choices. I have played 4 of those 5 because I said I hadn't played South Park, but I also know South Park, the characters, the voices, everything Trey Parker does, so I'm very familiar with that. There's no clear-cut winner here. I feel like these are all really strong choices. I might say that simply because, sadly, it is Call of Duty, that even though it's Kevin Spacey, the man himself, being nominated, I feel like that is the game and the character that has the least likelihood of winning. I really wouldn't be disappointed with any of these. Troy Baker is amazing. I thought Middle-earth was just pretty good, but I do love Troy Baker. I don't know. I love Clementine more than anything in the world, but I feel like if I was going to pick here, I might have to go with Adam Harrington as Bigby from The Wolf Among Us because I think his character and his acting was stronger than Clementine's in Season 2 of The Walking Dead. So if I had to pick, I'm going to shoot for Adam Harrington, but I'm not even going to pretend to pick what could actually win. All 5 choices are really strong, so this is anybody's game. That's going to be a fun category to see play out. I feel like I both love and sort of detest this next category. I feel like it's a very interesting telling of the time in today's gaming landscape, but there's also a good side to it too, and I'll tell you why in a moment. So the category is Best Remaster. Yes, that's exactly what it is, Best Remaster. And we've got Grand Theft Auto 5, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, The Last of Us Remastered, The Master Chief Collection, and Tomb Raider: The Definitive Edition. So this is all completely asinine to me. And I just think that it's ridiculous that this is so common that it now has its own category. That's kind of ridiculous. Of course, I defend legitimate remasters. There's only one, maybe 1.5 that I actually support here. The one that I support the most is the Master Chief Collection. And the one I half support is the Pokemon games because I can't remember when the Ruby and Sapphire games came out. To me, a remaster is only worthwhile when you're going back several years and most specifically several generations of hardware. So I can't remember if Ruby and Sapphire, I think those were Game Boy Advance games, which means they were before the DS, which means they were more than 2 generations, or they are at least 2 generations old. I could be wrong, so any real serious Pokemon fans can correct me there. But what I do know is that 2 of the 4 games on the Master Chief Collection are very old, 10 and 13 years old, respectively. So that game and what it takes to remaster a game that's that old, going back 3 generations and 2 generations, or no, both 3 generations, both going back 2 Xboxes is what I'm saying. Those 2 games, Halo 1 and Halo 2, are on the original Xbox. So those are going back more than 1 complete generation. Those games are legitimate remasters to bring back for a new generation of gamers. It's why I supported the Wind Waker remake, because that game is several generations and 11 or 12 years old. So that's a remaster. Grand Theft Auto 5, The Last of Us, which is maybe my second favorite game of all time, by the way, and Tomb Raider, those are really good games. Some of the greatest games in a long time, but they all came out last year. So I get that they're remastering them for the new generation, but it's like, it's just a problem that this happens so often with this new generation with a game that's only a year old. They're already in HD. I mean, yes, they look better. I totally get that, and it's great to see them on new hardware, but it's just a really weird thing. If they were released at like a super budget price of like $20 a piece, then they would be justified in just being released a year later for new hardware. But this remaster quote unquote thing, I just think it's a weird thing. So to me, Master Chief and maybe Pokemon are the only ones that really deserve to have been remade this year. Now, all that BS and, ranting aside, what I do have to say is, considering the fact that we do live in this gaming landscape where these things are so common, what I do like is the fact that this category exists means it's making sure to shoehorn their own thing, and they're keeping them separate from 2014's actual new games. So I really do like that. I have to say that even though they're the symptom of a larger problem, I think that this is a great way to include them in the conversation. Because if like Last of Us or Grand Theft Auto made it into the Game of the Year nomination, I and a lot of people probably would be super pissed. So this is a great way to sort of fix the fact that it's already an issue anyway. So that being said, I haven't played The Last of Us Remastered. I've watched my brother play it. It's tough because that is, like I said, definitely a top 5 game all time for me. Maybe, the PS3 release. Maybe number 2. I mean, I love it that much. However, I haven't really played it. I don't own it. I have played the Master Chief Collection. I own that, and I am a huge Halo fan. So as much as I want to give it to The Last of Us because I like Last of Us more than I like Halo, I've actually played the Master Chief Collection, and there's also a shit ton more content. They remade 3 old games. I mean, they did great things there. So I'm going to have to go with, my vote is Master Chief. I feel like Grand Theft Auto or Last of Us is going to win. Probably Grand Theft Auto, so that's my vote there. Alrighty, I sure had a lot to say about that remaster thing. Let's try to get through the rest of these pretty quickly. Best Action Adventure, Alien Isolation, Assassin's Creed Unity, Bayonetta 2, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I am so tongue-tied today. And Sunset Overdrive. So that's a really good list, except for Assassin's Creed Unity. That's a really strong list. My votes go for Bayonetta 2 or Sunset Overdrive. This is one I could see being an upset, and whereas I think still Bayonetta 2 obviously deserves it more than any of these games, I could see this one randomly going to Shadow of Mordor, and I don't know why. I just feel like it's going to happen. And again, it's a good game, so I won't be super pissed, but I feel like Bayonetta deserves it the most, followed closely by Sunset Overdrive. So that one's going to be interesting to see play out. Best Fighting Game, this is a slam dunk knockout. But it is between Killer Instinct Season 2, which I cannot wait to play, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Super Smash Bros. 3DS, Super Smash Bros. Wii U, and Ultra Street Fighter 4. All great choices. For me, it's Smash Bros. For the Wii U. I think that's got to be the lock. It'll be interesting to see, but there's almost no doubt. If you're placing bets, Smash Bros. Wii U is your guaranteed win there. Best sports game, I have no... Oh, I guess I do have... There's one of these games I have played and that I would vote for. So best sports or racing game is FIFA 15, Forza Horizon 2, Mario Kart 8, NBA 2K15, and Trials Fusion. Mario Kart 8, for me, it's the only one I've played. It's the only one I would play. I know FIFA gets really good scores. I think Forza was kind of a letdown. Trials, I know, is supposed to be a very good game. I'm pretty sure Mario Kart 8 also has the highest reviews out of all these games, but I don't know. I would think this one's going to either Mario Kart or FIFA. Probably Mario Kart. I feel like that has the shoe in there. Best shooter, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Destiny, Far Cry 4, Titanfall, and Wolfenstein The New Order. There we go. That does have another nomination. Really strong choices here. I've only played Call of Duty and Destiny. I really want to play Titanfall. I feel like Titanfall, even with all the hype leading into it, really isn't going to win. So I feel like it's probably going to... I feel like Call of Duty or Far Cry are going to win. I would vote Destiny. I love Advanced Warfare, and I'm a huge Call of Duty fan, but I'm one of the few people that thinks Destiny is amazing, and I still think it. So my vote there is Destiny, but I feel like it's going to Far Cry or Call of Duty, so we'll see on that one. Getting down to the end of the ones that I'm at least going to talk. God, there's a lot here. Okay, I'm going to do just a few more, guys. I'm gonna pick the ones that actually make sense to talk about. Best role-playing game: Bravely Default, Dark Souls 2, Divinity, Dragon Age Inquisition, South Park: Stick of Truth. All great choices. I've played Bravely Default, Dark Souls, and Dragon Age, as I mentioned before. So I would like any one of those to win, but of those three, I'd have to go with Dark Souls 2, if you really want to consider it a role-playing game. So that's my vote. I think it might have the best chance, that or Dragon Age, or South Park. It's going to be one of those. Bravely Default's amazing. I don't think it has a chance of winning. So, but my vote there, Dark Souls 2. I'm going to skip Best Family Game. I'm going to skip Best Online Experience. I'm going to skip Best Mobile or Handheld Game, although I would give it to Bravely Default or Smash Brothers, by the way. Developer of the Year: Blizzard, Monolith, Nintendo, Telltale, Ubisoft Montreal. So this was an interesting one because I had to look up Monolith. I was confused. I was like, wait, Monolith? What the hell? Because I was thinking Monolith Soft, who is Nintendo's company. And I was like, well, I would probably vote for them, but they didn't make anything this year. They're making Xenoblade Chronicles X next year. And it turns out that that's the company that made Shadow of Mordor. Really weird choice to include that as a developer of the year because they haven't made anything in a couple of years. They haven't made a lot of great games, period. I mean, they've made just a bunch of okay games for a long time. Shadow of Mordor is their highest profile game ever, I would say. And it's only one game. I don't know how making one pretty good game qualifies them as potential developer of the year, but whatever. I have to say that Ubisoft can just GTFO after this year. So Blizzard, Nintendo, and Telltale. Obviously, my choice is Nintendo because they've had an amazing year. They deserve it 100%. This kind of show is probably not skewed to the facts, so I feel like they're going to probably shun Nintendo on this one. But if Telltale won, I would still be thrilled. So I would love it if Nintendo or Telltale won. I love Blizzard, but I didn't really spend much time with their games this year. I loved Diablo Reaper of Souls, so I'm glad that they got nominated for that and for Warlords of Draenor for WoW, but Nintendo or Telltale for me on that one. I'm going to skip Best Soundtrack, even though I'm a music guy. My vote would be Destiny, but I'm going to skip that one. Most anticipated game, that's a stupid thing to even bring up. I just think that that's ridiculous. Well, that's all of them that I would talk about, so I guess I'm going to go ahead. I want to do one more. I'll just do most anticipated games because whatever. It's the last. Gives me one more category to talk about. So Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Evolve, The Witcher 3, and Uncharted 4. Those are the games nominated for most anticipated game, which was basically like, what game are we telling you to be excited for next year? And I don't want to even get into the whole if there's like, money in people's pockets for this. I think it's a silly thing to talk about. I also think that there are a lot of absolutely shunned games. How Zelda isn't here is atrocious and insulting as hell, which is why I know that this show is probably going to shun Nintendo big time, whereas they should be the ones knocking it out of the park this year. But I do think that I'm actually excited for all of those games. So those are still 5 amazing games. And I have to go with Uncharted 4. I'm really excited for Batman, Bloodborne, and Witcher, but Uncharted is just amazing. I love Nathan Drake. PS4 needs some goddamn games already, so I'm going to go with Uncharted 4 on that one. All right, so those are all my thoughts on all the crazy categories that I decided to talk about today. Like I said, there's quite a few other ones that I didn't bring up or discuss in the video today. So I'm going to link this below for you guys to go and check out the rest of the nominees in case you haven't already seen the list. But I think I'm still really excited for the show. I like that Nintendo got a lot of well-deserved love this year. I feel like Bayonetta and Smash Brothers and Mario Kart have really solid chances of winning. Nintendo deserves Developer of the Year. I don't see an award show like this and the way they usually snub, really excellent folks. I don't see them giving Nintendo the award. But I do still like seeing them nominated. I think that's really great. I don't be surprised if Bayonetta does win Game of the Year. That would be phenomenal if that happened, man. So let's all cross our fingers for that. Anyway, gamers of all, walks of life and choices and opinions are going to be really excited for this. I want to hear from everybody's, different opinions, standpoint and perspective. What games are you excited for? What companies are you excited for? What do you want to see win all these crazy categories? So definitely share all that stuff below. Subscribe to Rule of Two Review. Like and share the video. Thanks for tuning in. I will catch you guys on the next video.